This video does come with a warning, and the warning is quite specific because I love this stuff. I really do. We're going to talk about spiky profiles, one of my favorite topics of all time. And I'll explain why I love spiky profiles. It's very, very useful. Let's get that out there firstly. It's very, very useful, and you're going to love it too, I'm sure. But secondly, it appeals to me personally. Remember the incorporation exercise we did right at the start of TAE LLN 411, where we asked you to identify whether you were, what was it? It was writing, reading, talking, or numbers person. Which were you? Were you writing, numbers person, reading, talking? Which one were you? For me, the answer was obvious. As soon as I saw that exercise, I knew what my answer was. Do you know what I am? I am a numbers person. I love numbers. I get turned on by numbers in a way that's a little bizarre. And in Spiky Profiles, we're going to be dealing with some numbers here. It's one of the few parts of TAE LLN 411 where we actually talk about numbers in a detailed way. But I promise you, even if you're not a numbers person, don't panic, because I volunteered to help you with this, and I think this will make great sense. But before we talk about the numbers, let's talk about what is a spiky profile. And a spiky profile, put simply, is from the ACSF, the Australian Core Skills Framework, and it's a recognition that an individual may operate across different levels within a core skill as well as across the 5 core skills. In fact, it's not just a recognition that they may operate at different levels in terms of the different core skills, but we actually measure those differences, and we measure people's performances and people's abilities within each of the 5 core skills. This is where it gets interesting to me. And the variance in performance can be captured using a spiky profile, which provides valuable information about the individual's strengths and areas of improvement. And not only does it tell us about the individual, but we use a spiky profile to compare the individual's current performance and current skills levels against that of a job or training specification. All right. Now, on the previous screen, we introduced you to Juan. And Juan is going for a new role, and as part of that new role, he's enrolling in the Certificate for in Human Resources. And we had some information in that scenario about Juan. Now, what was interesting with Juan is Juan's taking on this Certificate for in Human Resources, which is a pretty full-on course. But he's got some skills deficiencies related to LLN. Specifically, in the second paragraph of the scenario, it says, when introducing unfamiliar texts and tasks relevant to HR training, because there was specialist terms, there was scanning of government legislation and the creation of specific styles of report writing, it was clear that Juan was not confident and requested additional support. It was particularly evident in the written assessment. So this information from the scenario has been taken and has been looked at by an LLN specialist practitioner. And that expert has produced the spiky profile that we see in front of us right now. So with the spiky profile, what we see is a comparison between the current level of Juan's skills, and that's in the dark purple, as opposed to the ACSF level required to succeed with the Certificate for in Human Resources. And that's been identified with the light colour. So in a perfect world, in a wonderful world for Juan, his dark purple should look like skyscrapers compared to the requirements of the training, and that's not really the case here. For learning, as an example, Juan's current level is 3. So the dark purple goes up to 3 for learning, but the light purple also goes up to 3. It's a dead heat between Juan's current level and the level required for this training. And to be honest, that's good enough. A dead heat is a win for Juan. So because Juan already possesses enough skills in learning that he should be able to undertake this training successfully. So even is good. But what's not so good is the reading score. You'll see that Juan also registers a current level of 3, an ACSF level of performance of 3 for reading. But unfortunately for Juan, he needs 4 in order to be able to undertake this course successfully. You'll also see there's a deficiency in writing. Juan scores 2, but 4 is the requirement for the training. So he's well short here in terms of his writing capacity. Oral communication, 3 versus 4, not good for 1. Numeracy, a better result. 1's pretty good with numbers. Got on your 1, that's the way to do it. He's got a score of 4, and the training requires 4 as well. So he's in good shape there. But overall, 1 is in some trouble here. He hasn't been able to meet the level of performance that's required for reading, writing, and oral communication. And that's a great concern for 1. That's a great concern for us as a trainer. And what we're probably going to have to do here is we're going to have to dig in deep and help 1. We might have to bring in a specialist support person to help 1 improve his LLN skills, and we might have to make some adjustments perhaps early in the training to help 1 so that he can cope with this challenge of improving his LLN skills at the same time as he's going to be undertaking this training. Or maybe we're going to defer his training until his LLN skills improve, especially in reading, so that he has a fighting chance of doing well in this course. That's a Spiky profile. That's how it works. I hope you loved it. I enjoyed making this video. I hope it made sense to you too.